In an age where individual rights, freedom, and democracy are the cornerstones of many societies, the ideas of one man continue to resonate through time. John Locke, often regarded as the father of liberalism, laid the philosophical groundwork for many of the principles that underpin modern Western civilization. His theories on government, knowledge, and education have not only influenced the course of political thought, but also have profound moral implications for our daily lives. In this extensive exploration, we will delve deep into Locke's philosophy, its relevance today, and how his ideas can guide us toward a more just and enlightened society. The early life and intellectual journey of John Locke. John Locke was born on August 29, 1632, in Rington, Somerset, England. His upbringing in a Puritan household, coupled with the tumultuous political landscape of 17th century England, profoundly shaped his intellectual journey. Locke's father, a lawyer who served as a captain in the parliamentary forces during the English Civil War, instilled in him the values of liberty and justice. Locke's academic journey began at Westminster School and later at Christ Church, Oxford, where he was initially exposed to the traditional scholastic curriculum. However, it was his interaction with contemporary thinkers and his growing interest in natural sciences that sparked his shift toward empirical inquiry and rational thought. Influenced by the scientific methods of Robert Boyle and the philosophical ideas of René Descartes, Locke began to formulate his theories that would later challenge the status quo and reshape philosophical discourse. Major works and philosophical contributions. An essay concerning human understanding. Locke's seminal work, An Essay Concerning Human Understanding, published in 1690, marks a pivotal moment in the history of philosophy. In this text, Locke challenges the notion of innate ideas proposed by rationalist philosophers, arguing instead that the human mind is a tabula rasa, or blank slate, at birth. According to Locke, all knowledge is derived from sensory experience and reflection. Sensation and reflection. Locke's theory of knowledge rests on two fundamental processes: sensation and reflection. Sensation refers to the experiences provided by our sensory organs when they interact with the external world. These experiences produce simple ideas such as the concepts of heat, cold, light, and sound. Reflection, on the other hand, involves the mind's examination of its own operations, leading to complex ideas formed by combining simple ones. Simple and complex ideas. Locke differentiates between simple and complex ideas to explain the formation of knowledge. Simple ideas, generated by sensory experiences, are the building blocks of thought. Complex ideas, such as beauty, justice, and substance, are constructed by the mind by combining and relating simple ideas. Two treatises of government. Locke's political philosophy, articulated in Two Treatises of Government, 1690, remains one of his most influential contributions. The first treatise is a critique of Sir Robert Filmer's patriarchal theory, which justified the divine right of kings. The second treatise outlines Locke's vision of a just government based on the social contract and natural rights. State of nature and natural rights. Locke's state of nature is a theoretical construct where individuals exist without a common authority to enforce laws. In this state, individuals possess natural rights to life, liberty, and property. These rights are inherent and cannot be surrendered or transferred. Locke argues that the primary role of government is to protect these natural rights, social contract and government by consent. Locke's social contract theory posits that individuals consent to form a government to safeguard their natural rights. This government derives its legitimacy from the consent of the governed and is limited in its powers. If a government fails to protect the rights of its citizens or becomes tyrannical, the people have the right to overthrow it. Separation of powers. Locke advocates for the separation of powers within government to prevent the concentration of authority and potential abuse of power. He distinguishes between the legislative, executive, and federative powers, emphasizing the importance of checks and balances in maintaining a just political system. A letter concerning toleration. In A Letter Concerning Toleration, 1689, Locke argues for the separation of church and state and the importance of religious tolerance. He contends that civil government should concern itself only with the preservation of public order and the protection of individuals' rights, while matters of faith should be left to individual conscience. Religious tolerance and individual conscience. Locke's plea for religious tolerance was revolutionary in an era marked by religious conflict and persecution. He argues that coercion in matters of faith is both morally wrong and ineffective. True belief cannot be compelled, and individuals should be free to follow their own religious convictions, without interference from the state. Implications for modern society. Locke's ideas on religious tolerance laid the groundwork for the principle of religious liberty, which is a cornerstone of modern democratic societies. His arguments continue to resonate in contemporary debates about the role of religion in public life and the importance of protecting individual freedoms. Some thoughts concerning education. Locke's educational philosophy, presented in Some Thoughts Concerning Education, 1693, emphasizes the importance of developing reason, virtue, and practical skills. He advocates for a practical approach to education that prepares individuals for life rather than merely imparting knowledge. Health and physical education. Locke stresses the importance of physical health and exercise in education, advocating for outdoor activities and a balanced diet. He believes that a healthy body is essential for a healthy mind. Moral and practical education. Locke argues that education should focus on the development of moral virtues such as honesty, diligence, and self-discipline. He also emphasizes the importance of practical skills and experiential learning, advocating for a curriculum that is relevant to real-life situations. Individualized instruction. Locke recognizes that students have different aptitudes and learning styles, and he advocates for tailoring education to the individual needs and interests of each child. He believes that education should be a personalized and holistic process that nurtures the whole person. The moral implications of Locke's philosophy. Locke's philosophy has profound moral implications that extend beyond abstract theory and into the realm of everyday life. His emphasis on individual rights, consent, and tolerance provides a moral framework for personal and social conduct. Respect for individual rights. Locke's assertion that individuals possess natural rights to life, liberty, and property underscores the moral imperative to respect and protect these rights. This principle informs contemporary ethical discussions about human rights, justice, and the role of government in safeguarding individual freedoms. Moral responsibility and consent. Locke's social contract theory highlights the moral responsibility of individuals to consent to and participate in the governance of their society. This idea underscores the importance of civic engagement and the ethical duty to uphold democratic principles and institutions. Tolerance and mutual respect. Locke's advocacy for religious tolerance and individual conscience promotes a moral ethos of mutual respect and understanding. His arguments encourage us to appreciate diversity and to coexist peacefully with others who may hold different beliefs and values. Education as a moral endeavor. Locke's views on education emphasize the moral dimensions of learning and personal development. He advocates for the cultivation of virtues and practical skills that enable individuals to lead fulfilling and ethical lives. His philosophy encourages us to see education as a lifelong process that shapes our character and our contributions to society. Relevance of Locke's philosophy in contemporary society. Locke's ideas remain deeply relevant in addressing the moral and political challenges of contemporary society. His principles provide a foundation for understanding and navigating issues related to human rights, governance, tolerance, and education. Human rights and social justice. Locke's emphasis on natural rights informs modern human rights discourse and efforts to promote social justice. His ideas remind us of the importance of protecting individual freedoms and addressing inequalities that undermine the dignity and well-being of individuals. Democratic governance and civic participation. Locke's social contract theory underscores the importance of democratic governance and active civic participation. In an era of political polarization and declining trust in institutions, his ideas encourage us to engage with our political system and to advocate for policies that reflect our shared values and aspirations. Religious freedom and pluralism. Locke's arguments for religious tolerance and the separation of church and state continue to resonate in debates about religious freedom and pluralism. His philosophy supports the protection of individual conscience and the promotion of a diverse and inclusive society. Educational reform and personal development. Locke's views on education provide valuable insights for contemporary educational reform efforts. His emphasis on individualized instruction, experiential learning, and the development of moral virtues aligns with current trends toward personalized and holistic education. His philosophy encourages us to see education as a means of empowering individuals to lead ethical and meaningful lives. Locke's legacy and influence. John Locke's contributions to philosophy, politics, and education have had a profound and lasting impact on Western thought and society. His ideas continue to shape contemporary debates and inform the principles of modern liberal democracies. Influence on political thought. Locke's political philosophy, particularly his theories of natural rights and the social contract, played a crucial role in shaping the intellectual underpinnings of the American Revolution and the founding of the United States. Thomas Jefferson drew heavily on Locke's ideas when drafting the Declaration of Independence, famously asserting that all men are created equal and endowed with unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Locke's influence extended beyond the American context, impacting political thought in Europe and inspiring movements for constitutional government and individual rights. His ideas contributed to the development of classical liberalism and the broader Enlightenment project of promoting reason, freedom, and progress. Impact on education. Locke's educational philosophy laid the groundwork for modern pedagogical approaches that emphasize the importance of individualized instruction, experiential learning, and the development of critical thinking and moral character. His ideas have been incorporated into various educational reforms and continue to inform contemporary debates on the aims and methods of education. Empiricism and the scientific method. Locke's emphasis on empirical observation and the acquisition of knowledge through sensory experience helped to establish empiricism as a dominant epistemological paradigm. His work influenced subsequent philosophers such as George Berkeley and David Hume, who further developed and refined empiricist theories of knowledge. Locke's commitment to empirical methods also contributed to the advancement of the scientific method, promoting the idea that knowledge should be grounded in observation, experimentation, and reason. Criticisms and controversies. Despite his enduring influence, Locke's ideas have also been subject to criticism and controversy. Some critics argue that Locke's theory of property rights, which emphasizes the acquisition of property through labor, fails to adequately address issues of inequality and exploitation. Others contend that his social contract theory does not fully account for the complexities of modern political life and the diverse interests and identities of contemporary societies. Property rights and inequality. Locke's theory of property rights has been criticized for its potential to justify economic inequality and the accumulation of wealth. Critics argue that Locke's emphasis on individual labor as the basis for property ownership overlooks structural factors that contribute to disparities in wealth and power. This critique highlights the need for a more nuanced understanding of property rights and their implications for social justice. Social contract and modern political life. Some critics contend that Locke's social contract theory, while foundational for democratic governance, may not fully capture the complexities of modern political life. The diverse interests and identities present in contemporary societies pose challenges to the notion of a unified social contract. This critique underscores the importance of continuously reevaluating and adapting political theories to address evolving social realities. Education and intellectual pursuits. Locke's emphasis on practical education and moral development has been criticized for potentially neglecting the importance of intellectual and artistic pursuits. Some argue that a well-rounded education should include exposure to a broad range of disciplines, including the arts and humanities. This critique highlights the need for a balanced approach to education that nurtures both practical skills and intellectual curiosity. John Locke's contributions to philosophy, politics, and education have had a profound and lasting impact on the development of modern liberal thought. His ideas on natural rights, government by consent, religious tolerance, and the importance of education continue to shape contemporary debates and inform the principles of democratic societies. Embracing Locke's legacy. As we navigate the challenges of the 21st century, Locke's vision of a just and enlightened society based on the principles of liberty, equality, and tolerance remains a source of inspiration and guidance. His philosophy encourages us to respect individual rights, engage in civic participation, promote religious freedom, and pursue educational reforms that empower individuals to lead ethical and meaningful lives. In embracing Locke's legacy, we are called to reflect on our own roles and responsibilities in shaping a more just and equitable society. This involves actively participating in democratic processes, advocating for policies that protect individual rights and promote social justice, and fostering a culture of tolerance and mutual respect. It also involves recognizing the importance of education in developing critical thinking, moral character, and practical skills that enable individuals to contribute positively to their communities. Let us honor John Locke's enduring legacy by striving to create a world where liberty, equality, and justice are not just ideals, but lived realities. By doing so, we can ensure that the principles he championed continue to guide us toward a brighter and more enlightened future.